What's up, dog, everybody? It's Torrential Downfall. Today, we're taking a stroll into Peckham. Having previously dived into the career of Sir David Jason, definitely a video you can have a look at if you're interested in comedy and, a famous British actor. Thought it was right to now touch upon the crown jewel of his filmography. We're going back to 1981 to look at the show that didn't just define British comedy, it became its national identity. I'm talking about Only Fools and Horses. To understand Only Fools, you have to understand its sheer scale. When now we're talking about, different ways of streaming, there's YouTube, like, you might be watching now, movies as well as TV. Back in the day, you just had, weekly episodic shows. In 96, the episode Time on Our Hands pulled in 24.3 million viewers. That was more than a third of the UK population just watching this one man finally catch a big break. It wasn't just popular, but it also bagged multiple awards such as BAFTAs and being voted Britain's best sitcom in a 2004 BBC poll. It wasn't just about, an easy laugh. It really did capture the heart of the UK population by encapsulating that working class culture. The magic of Peckham wasn't just in its punchline; it was also in the different DNAs of the main characters. For example, you had the David Jason character Del Boy. He was this eternal optimist. Yes, he was a flight pitcher trying to make a quick buck, but he also had the heart of a lion and the vocabulary of, well, someone who thought Marge 2 meant my God. But he was always about learning new skills and really personified that kind of Cockney hustle. Rodney, as described by Del Boy, was the plonker with GCEs. While he might not have the same business acumen as Del Boy, he definitely possessed a real moral compass, and also a real hearty attitude. Where initially the show had Grandad, it did then develop to having Uncle Albert, who played the more elderly individual, where they kind of showed that real familial relationship that you have with older members of your family, and they provided that generational bridge in the show. But it wasn't just about the main characters. There was so much from the supporting cast with their own individual mannerisms, whether that be Boyce's iconic laugh to Trigger's unique perspective on life and his 20-year-old broom. The different side character personalities really brought the show to life. But one of the things that made the show special was its willingness to go where other sitcoms wouldn't at the time. If we're just circling back to Grandad and the introduction of Uncle Albert, that transition where they sort of managed Leonard Pierce's passing was held with real grace, and it hadn't really been shown before on British television to televise the passing of an actor rather than just trying to sweep it under the carpet. And so that was a real turning point. But you also had other sort of heart-gripping moments, like with Rodney and Cassandra when they had their miscarriage, and it was just guidance in a topic that wasn't really spoken about at the time. Well, not on television anyway. But it also just spoke about the difficulties of the working class of those living in council flats, and trying to integrate into society. So if you're watching Only Fools and Horses today, some of the wording is definitely a little bit dated. that's kind of a product of Only Fools being, you know, created in the late 20th century. But if you look past some of the 80s slang, the family values, the idea that you never turn back on your own, are universal and timeless. Yes, there was, you know, a lot of, you know, slapstick comedy, the bar fall, the chandelier drop, and it's definitely memorable moments. But the unique writing from John Sullivan is definitely what kept the show going for decades. It taught us that, you know, even if this time next year we'll be millionaires, the real wealth is from the people around you at home. I'm giving Only Fools and Horses a 9.5 out of 10. It's how Del Boy would say the creme de la menthe of UK TV. But, you know, what's your favourite moment? Is it Batman and Robin, or was it that heartwarming moment when, you know, Del Boy and Robin did finally become millionaires? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, as long as it hurts no one, do something nice for yourself today.